All right. My name is Daniel. I currently play Oubar. I am responsible for running the interview sessions for the TownCrier. Did that previously, took a long break, and now I am back in that role. We're doing it in a different format. We're doing this through voice. And today we've got a guest that I'm very excited about, and I will throw it to you to introduce yourself. Go for it.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is the voice of that panicky phantom known as Yardie.
Very nice. Very nice, sir. Appreciate you doing this. So we're going to the format. It's going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to do the first half as add a character. For these, I'm looking for your voice. I want to hear you, the players' opinions on the things I'm going to throw at you. Feel free to stop me if you have any questions or want clarification. But that when and why did you start playing Gemstone?
I started playing around, well, my official day was June 16, 2020. We were all sequestered and dealing with the pandemic and whatnot. And
Oh yeah.
I actually was playing a lot of Mortal Kombat 11, and I was really on my PS4 and whatnot. And then um, what ended up happening was I have two friends. You guys already know them because you've seen them on Gemstone. I have Iskander and I have Drayler. We've known each
Mhm.
other for about 20 plus years. We've been a part of a few clubs. We've been part of the Star Wars Club. We used to play Star Wars Galaxies and a few other things. And they had been talking about Gemstone for a while. And every day Iskander would be like, oh, I hunted this thing, or oh, I got killed because of Earth and Fury or something like that. And they were just like throughout the time, they were like, hey, listen, man, you got to get in this. You got to get in this. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm enjoying Mortal Kombat. I'm playing Overwatch every now and then. And no, you got to get into this. So this was around March, and they had
Okay.
been pushing and pushing and pushing all the way to June. And what people know is that there's the trio, the brothers, but they didn't know that there was originally five of us.
Oh,
I was the
okay.
last one to join. So there was Drayler, who you guys know as the Alatoy Ranger, Iskander, obviously, the Valorian Ranger. There was a girl named Guinevere who was an Alatoy cleric, and there was a friend of mine that lived around me that's also in the same group, and he played a Valorian bard named Talderon. So I was the last
Okay.
one to pop in.
Nice, nice. Okay, so basically you crumbled finally. Like I said, everybody's in lockdown. They finally beat you down and got you to try it out, right?
Yeah, more or less. And they
Okay.
just threw me to the wolves. They're like, hey, just start putting in, figure it out. Actually, real quick, when
Yeah.
I started, I want to say the 15th actually, but I had messed up the character creation. The character creation I had, the character's name was Zovan, and he was going to be my dark elf rogue and whatnot. Most people know I'm Haitian, and the term Zo is a Haitian word that means bone, and the idea is supposed to be that where you're hard, like you're bad at a bone,
Okay.
and I thought about that, and then I messed it up, and then the next day I came in there and I rolled up Yardie. So
Okay. Can you give any insight as to why you picked that name? Was it just something off the top of your head, or is that any kind of meeting or anything like that? Where'd you get that
funny,
from?
it's funny because I'm Haitian, but a lot of my cousins and stuff like that are Jamaican, and
Okay.
the Jamaican gangster term and whatnot that they use is Yardie. And so like, the idea
Oh.
is that you're from the neighborhood, you're from the yard, yeah, Yardie.
Oh,
And
okay.
I just rolled it up and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play this, and I'll probably be out of this game like in a week or two, and then that'll be the end of it, and whatever. And um when I first met up with Scander online and we first were in character, he was like, "Oh, he already sounds like a halfling's name." And I'm like, "Okay, this actually works really well. I could play around with this
Okay.
because the ambiguity of the name actually there's a bit to that." So
Sure, sure. Makes sense to me. Okay, so in your opinion, and again, I'm looking for your opinion, you the player, why do you think Gemstone has lasted for as long as it has? It's been around for a long time at this point. What do you think the reason for that is?
well, there's a lot of reasons for Gemstone being around for a long time. In terms of the storylines and in terms of the depth of the RP, there really isn't anything like it. Like I've
Sure.
I've played EverQuest, I've played Ultima Online, Star Wars Galaxies. Um, there were a few others that I've played, and you had the hunting, the grinding, the
Oh yeah.
making you make your silvers, you make your credits or whatever it is, and you're just going out there and adventuring. But in terms of this really expansive world, I would say EQ was close, but in terms of like having these GM events, having, you know, just the spontaneity of some character coming in and it's like an NPC and you don't even know what it is, and some of the mishaps and whatnot that happen. I don't think there's anything like it. Um, but I would also say, I think a lot of people, there's people that have been saying that they've been playing since the 90s, which is trippy to me. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
even know this game was around. Like I was playing BattleTech on AOL while everybody was playing Gemstone. Like Gemstone, this was a
Yeah, you
thing.
missed it, man. You missed it. That's
I was tripping out about that. So, but I think a lot of people invested their, you know, characters. Obviously, they invested, you know, silvers and other things and stuff like that. And they've been playing for so long, and it's with when you have that much, you know, invested into it, whether it's character, whether it's friends, whether it's, you know, the fluff or the gear and whatnot, it really is hard for people to just walk away and then be like,
sure.
okay, I'm done. I'm done. You know, I know if I came down to it and I was done, I'd do it and I'd be all right. But I know for a lot of people that would be difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you, man. That's it's a unique environment that people can absolutely get invested in, and it becomes kind of part of their identity, for lack of a better word. It's like, that's you invest so much of yourself into your character, whether it's like you say, whether it's, either it's money out of pocket or silvers in game or even just your time. I mean,
Right.
that's an investment that a lot of people have a hard time breaking away from, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I mean, it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing.
Sure.
But it's just something that very few places or very few games can offer. I mean,
Yeah, I would
I
agree
as,
with that.
and then you have to deal with it, you know, then you also have to consider the camaraderie that you create. I know if I stop playing Gemstone, there's gonna be a group of people for certain that we're gonna be friends for a long, long time. There's a lot of things that we've learned about each other and they're good
Sure.
people. They're good people. So
Yeah, I mean, I know you've heard me say it, but I mean, to me, and I think we're on the same page here. It comes down to a lot of the time. It comes down to relationships. That's what keeps you sticking around. I mean,
correct.
there are people that you enjoy spending time with, just flat out. And by any other, standard, the definition of that is a friend. You make friends. I mean, those are people that you enjoy spending your time with. You go out of your way to spend your time with them. That's something that can last for a really long time.
True. And then it's funny when you share those stories with like your spouse and whatnot, and they're like, because especially when my wife walks around and she sees it, it's like you're just playing the typing game. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like
No, no.
you don't understand. I'm right now. I'm sailing
Yeah.
with Iskander and we're going around and his wolf is peeing on the deck and she's just looking at me like my husband's lost his mind.
Well, sure, sure. But that's just all in good fun.
Absolutely.
I've been there. I've been there, man. All right. So next up. So this one where I want to clarify, I'm asking you, the player. So what is your favorite memory from your time in Gemstone? And I mean you. I don't mean the time when Yardie was the most excited or anything like that. You, the player, what's the time that you look back on as your favorite memory in your time as playing Gemstone?
Man, there's quite a few.
Okay.
Um, it's hard to just like it's funny. I was thinking about this today, and it's just hard to narrow in one one occasion because some of them are
Sure.
like a lot of them are ridiculous. Obviously, um,
Yeah.
you guys have heard about the squid baby,
Yeah.
and you know that was something that I like in terms of role play. I never experienced anything like that. So to have
Well, okay, but let me back you up a step. Tell that
okay.
story because I know the story, but I need to hear you tell it. Let's get it on the record.
All right, so man, Yachty was going through a rough time. December was pretty rough for him. You know, he had some friends that, he ended up splitting with, and it was kind of like a crossroads for him, and he started
Okay.
just meeting other people. And then there was this incident. This was around the same time that they were doing the whole Ranger and Paladin rework.
Yep.
And there was an NPC named, I want to say Zikun. It's Zicune. Let
Yep.
me just say this right now. Gemstone names, they all jacked up. Like they they I was looking I was like Ubar, like Uber. I'm like, okay, that's a man drives an Uber. So
Ubar, but you were close. We
all
got
right,
there. We got there.
right on. And so this person is in Town Square Central and they're just giving out, like I think it's a Zellion. Yeah, she's a Zellion, and she's giving out these fried calamaris, just giving them out. And my character always being, you know, the paranoid person that he is, he's like, yeah, I don't know if I should eat this. I don't know if I should eat this. Drayla's there and he's like, oh, I had it. It was no problem and stuff like that. And then he finally gives in, has the calamari. And
Yep.
then, you know, he's like, oh, this wasn't so bad. This was pretty good. And Zeke was like, oh, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, but maybe, you should be okay. You shouldn't have a baby or anything like that. And he's like, wait, classic Yardie. Wait, what? And
Right,
he's like, oh,
right.
I'm just kidding. Mostly, not really. And, and so I didn't, he pays, the game's going on. I'm playing about, days pass, and I'm not even really paying attention to it. And then one day I'm hunting with Miss Sandai. Shout out to Miss Sandai. Or I didn't
Cool.
even know how to pronounce her name. My Sunday, Miss Sandai, whatever. And
I got you. I know who you mean.
yeah, and we're there hunting in the Red Forest, and all of a sudden I get in Monster Bold, something wiggles inside your belly. And I'm like, nah,
Nah,
no
no
way,
way.
nah. And then for days it was just different monster board here and there and so on until one day I'm hunting in Shadow Valley. I was like in my 30s there, and all of
Yep.
a sudden something squishes out of his leg and scurries out into the grass, into the marsh, and completely just gone. And I'm like,
Okay.
did this dude just really like he just gave birth? The dude gave birth. And
Sure.
so that day kind of like stuck with me. And there was a few other times where I was hunting in Castle Varamar, and there would be like monster bold, and it's like, oh, a deep voice says, why did you abandon me? Why did you abandon me, daddy? Or not even daddy, was calling me mommy.
Mommy, right.
He's like, why did you abandon me, mommy? And he's like, I didn't abandon you, son. Daughter.
Whatever. Yeah, sure. We'll figure this out. Sure.
Yeah. And there was just one time that we were sailing with Cruxifim and a few others, and then the squid came out again and then disappeared, and that's the last time I've seen him or her.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Very nice.
That was one. Obviously the Palestra Childs was probably
Sure.
a big one because
Yep.
I thought we were gonna get wrecked. And
No way.
I'm glad for the team. The team, like, you already always say it's a team effort, but the other part of it was what y'all don't know is that when you have Iskander and Jailer, since we're like longtime friends,
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure. You
Oh,
know,
sure.
they're like, hey, listen, if you don't show up a blade, we're like, that's it. You're trash. We're disowning you,
Oh
and
yeah,
so on.
yeah.
And so when we had the
But man,
first,
you guys, how many did you guys have? You had nine, was it? How many did you guys have there for that?
we had nine. Mighty
Nine,
Nine.
and you had Darren as one of them. I mean, you guys wrecked it. You guys absolutely wrecked it. But I understand going in, being like, oh man, you gotta, because those things only come around every so often. You got to make a good
Right.
showing.
It was good showing us the audience there. There were a few people in character that wanted him to fail and a few people in character that didn't.
Okay.
And I think the biggest thing was before all that, we had to like do the whole sparring versus another player. And I
Oh,
got
okay.
Ketsimni, and I
Yep.
did not realize how nasty Ketsimni was when I was like, I'm doing okay, I'm getting stunned here and there. I'm doing okay. And then she just took one swing and it was like done,
Yep.
dead.
Done.
And then so when we go fight the Vather and we finally beat it, I'm telling Iskander, hey, we finally beat the Vather. And he's like, yeah, but Kitsimi won.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You gotta love friends, man. You gotta love
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hypothetical for you. So you are in charge now, as of right now, of Gemstone for 1 week. Give me one thing you would add and one thing you would remove, and tell me why.
I'm gonna be facetious, but the adding, I'll probably think of something, but if I could add something, GM
Sure.
Nigel, come back. Magic, come back. You
Yeah,
can nerf it
yeah.
all today. I'm so broke. And we rose just want a service.
Yeah, yeah. I
I'm
hear
being
you. I
I'm
hear
being silly.
you.
In terms of what I would add, I would definitely add for more of those little slice of life moments that I had with like Z-Kun and Melota, and the weird thing, like there was one time I Yardie got killed in Kraken's Fall, and there was like a hobgoblin that was like, "Oh, you're dead," and scalped him, and just little, just little visits of. I
Yeah,
try to role play nominate as much as I can, but just little things like that, that like, hey, an NPC comes out or someone comes in and whatever, that would definitely do wonders, because I don't think people realize how much the little things matter. Little
I'll
things like
tell
that.
I'll tell you flat out that is very well known. I know, I talk about, I one of my favorite moments from when I was a player was, I mean, I had one time where it was a kobold who stopped me in the middle of a fight and be like, "Why are you picking on me?" And we had a whole conversation. It was nothing, whoever the GM was behind that took them, 3 minutes, probably off the top of their head. I have no idea, which GM it was or anything like that or whatever. But that stuck with me. I mean, I get what you're saying. That's a way to kind of tie somebody to their character, right? You're giving them a unique experience and you're making the world come alive for them. I I,
Right.
I agree with you completely. I think that's a great thing for the game.
Definitely. My
So
cat,
what's
my
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, because you're gonna say one thing I would remove,
Yep.
my Cat Williams moment. Discord. Discord.
Oh,
Goodbye.
okay.
I would take it out. And I know it means well, because obviously there's lines of communication.
Sure.
But I think I talk about this with a few of my friends, where like there's sometimes an over communication and under communication. And what's happened, I think, in Discord is that um I want to say after the premium room was awesome, by the way. Like when we had that, it
Yeah.
was honestly like going to a coffee shop and being like, "Hey, hi neighbor, how you doing?" and stuff like that. And I think
Yeah.
what's happened is um the lines when you have Discord to kind of like reinforce some of the out of character and in character things, lines get blurred. Um
Absolutely.
and so what happens is there's a lot of beefs and a lot of things that happen in like little pockets. And instead of people coming together, I feel like people are kind of going into their own little circles. I would also argue, like in terms of some of the GMs, and it's not a knock on them, it's just like I think when they're being told like, hey, something's missing or whatever, because it's hard to pick up tone. Sometimes
Sure.
it gets defensive. Sometimes it gets like, it tends to feel like some people get more um get a more positive response than others, and it's just, it takes away from the magic of the game, because
Okay.
whatever happens in character, I could just be like, it's in character. Now when I see all this stuff, things get blurred. I mean, I don't know if you saw that conflict thread. That conflict thread is terrible, and
There's some stuff out there that, yeah.
I would say it is terrible. It's
Yeah.
Charles Barkley. It's terrible, terrible, terrible.
It's terrible. Terrible.
Um,
Yeah.
and
No, I hear you.
it got to the point where I was like, I had to bounce. And it's good to have our friends and stuff like that, but I think too much information takes away from the magic of the spontaneity of the game, and it takes away from
I can see
um
that.
the magic of, just we forget it's, GMs are people too. And I think
Yeah.
it gets forgotten because it's like, oh, but it's a business, and tech support, and it ain't supposed to be like that. So
Yeah.
that's my take on it.
I got you. I got you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to swap over now to in character. So in this, I'm looking to try and get inside Yardie's head as much as possible. Like I said,
Okay.
I'm not looking for you to act like Yardie or anything like that, but just sort of trying to answer things from his point of view as much as possible, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, so starting off again, kind of easy. So, what's Yardie's backstory? What's his origin story? What was Yardie before you started playing him? You know what I mean? Like, where did he come up?
It took a lot of work, but Yardie was obviously a Fandral living in New Fandral. There's some aspects that I'm gonna get into, and there's some aspects that I keep vague, because there's a lot of mystery towards, to him.
Sure.
He's one of the few um people that cannot harness magic. Like he could use an item, and he can use, like items here and there, and probably read off a scroll when he can read. But
Yeah.
he's supposed to be the the quintessential ordinary person, where he doesn't have like the magical talent, and he's not necessarily the most physical, but um he's he tries to work hard. And his story, a lot of
Okay.
it deals with the fact that, it's the story with him deals with his mother's love. And his mother was working in the mines and he decided to work for her, and he got in trouble with some stuff where his mom was going to be in danger, so he ended up going with the wrong people.
Okay.
And it led to him to like disappearing into like the world of Alanthea. And somewhere along the lines, he had an encounter with a Vathor and seeing a summoning go wrong and seeing a lot of people die.
Okay.
And in terms of how that goes in NTF, that could be a lot of problems if people are doing stuff behind
Sure.
the scenes. And he's basically been like trying to lay low and trying to be like, hey, listen, I'm on the run. So like when you hear him, there's a lot of ambiguity to him. That's why he says I am called Yardie. He doesn't really get into full details about stuff.
Okay.
And he's just trying to like he has a lot of guilt.
Okay.
In terms of like if he would feel like a hero, I don't think he does feel like a hero to himself. He would think like I'm repenting for all the things that I've done wrong. And just
Gotcha.
seeing just seeing the things that his journey from this bumbling rogue who ended up being found by Wolf Loner and helping out, and helped out and whatever, and to this,
Mhm.
assassin who's trying to leave that life and just trying to do right by people before he feels like he's gonna get got. Like he's convinced that he's gonna get discovered and he's gonna get killed. So he's like going on
Okay.
his redemption tour of like, hey, I'm trying to do the best I can to help people. And I think a lot of his world view was also shifted because he was saved by Iskander and Draelor. And so
Gotcha.
when you go to this whole idea of Thangel being like, oh, Thangel superiority and so on, and everybody else is like this,
Yeah.
being saved by a Valorian, being saved by an Aleatoy, and these people taking them in and being able to call them brothers, he kind of looks at his worldview and is like, okay, I need to do things right. There's more to us than what people think.
Nice. I gotcha. Okay. Okay. So if Yardi was asked, what would be like his code or his mission statement? What does Yardi believe in?
Yardie, and more than anything, he has a few things that he's very set in his ways about.
Okay.
Obviously, he's very anti-slavery, he's very anti-discrimination. He just believes in helping people that cannot help themselves. That is, he sees a lot of his fear in himself as a person who was weak, and I think he would still consider him kind of weak, but he's shifty, he's crafty, and he has cunning, so he can do things. But
Yeah.
he believes in speaking up for people that are not able to do so, looking out for people that might not be able to um help their situation because of what happened to him. And he'll do so even if it means like there's times where like he'll argue it with Lilia. Shout out to Lilia, she's awesome. Um we have our bouts and whatever, but I love her character. And
Sure.
he'll say like she'll put him in a position where he'll have to honestly answer like, hey, I don't agree with you. I think this is wrong, knowing full well that she or whoever else might smite him, but is like,
Sure.
I
You
speak my
still
mind.
gotta, yeah, you still gotta be straight with it. I
Right.
I can respect that. Okay. Is Yardi married or romantically involved in game at
Yardie is
all?
happy in his status.
Gotcha. Okay. All
That
right.
what
I'll
what
just leave that there.
he doesn't really tell anybody what it is. He would say it's the closest thing to probably being self-actualized.
Okay.
But yeah, he says he's happy in his status.
Good enough. Good enough. So, what's Yardi's favorite place to be? And I'm looking for like a location here and why. What is it?
Kraken's well, as of late, definitely Kraken's Fall, Nereid's Cradle.
Okay.
He has a bungalow there. Shout out to Nishugi and shout out to Left. Love those people. Shout out to my Kraken
Yep.
Collective. But when he looks at the whole world, you have the landing, which the landing's wilding right now. So
Well, yeah, yeah.
then you have
It
the whole
always
thing.
is. That's
Yeah,
not a new thing. I don't have to break it to you. That's not a new thing. That's just the constant state of being for the landing.
yeah. You have you have so he doesn't do Soul Haven. Those
Sure.
people are straight, but just they don't he doesn't jive. The Empire stuff is a bit complicated for him because he opposes like he wouldn't deny that things could change, but he feels like you're not going to be able to tell me that things are changing. I have to see it for myself, and it's going to take time and whatever.
Okay.
He likes Ice Mule. That's where he started off. He would say that he was reborn there, but
Very nice.
with the blood magic and whatnot, he's kind of like these people are gonna going crazy. The East is the East. He likes Tavalor, but you know,
Yep.
Tavalor still has its issues of accepting everybody, even though it has gotten better, but there's certain things that need to be dealt with. And the same
Sure.
thing with Illy. And he's not a tree person, so Kiss a Gear doesn't work for him. And so when he goes to Kraken's, when he's on Kraken's Fall, he's been with a lot of people, like-minded people that are just trying to have a community, accepting each other no matter what, and working together. I mean, like I would say the leader of the Kraken Collective, that the MHO that he's in, is Wormheart. Wormheart is a half Krogan.
Yep.
Half Krogan. And let me tell you right now, that dude's he speaks in like Jamaican patois.
Oh, okay.
So, so you know, like Yardie will see him and be like, hey, you know, hey, Wormheart, how's it going? They'd be like, Wagwan. I'd have met her be with
Nice.
your man. And I'm like, oh man, like, and so everybody's there as a family, as a community, and it's away from all these rules and all this kingdoms and this mess. So he's just happy there. It's paradise, really.
Nice. Very nice. I can see that suiting him, definitely. All right. So what is Yardie's most treasured possession?
He has a few.
Okay.
He has a ring that he keeps. It's a hexagonal Mifflin ring that he got from somebody.
Okay.
Has a deep meaning to him. I think aside from that, there are some gloves that he has that he ended up getting the fire wheel added to him. Those
Okay.
were given by Nordred, and Nordred was kind of like, aside from Wolf Loner, Nordred was like this, Faendral rogue that took him in and kind of
Yeah.
like treated him like, hey, listen, I'm gonna help you out and so on. And hey, that guy's awesome. I think the biggest one of all three probably is he has a silvery lore quill
Okay.
that he ended up winning. There was like the whole Faendral rules of engagement, and he ended up winning in killer darts. And the way he won, everybody thought he was gonna lose. They were like, oh, it's
Okay.
no pressure and so on. And it was like him and Melikor. And
Yep.
Melikor had been killing everybody and he was just winning. And then he was able to become a killer and he was able to kill Melikor in like that one turn. And
Oh, nice.
everybody was stunned, which is kind of the story of Yardie, where you don't think he's going to be able to succeed in something. And then
Yeah.
he pulls it out and it's like, oh, like, a lot of, you know, holy bleep moments and so on.
Sure. Sure.
And that quill has meant a lot to him because, as people know, Yardie is illiterate. He doesn't read common well.
Yep.
He could understand Faendral here and there, but I kind of mirror it to like how I speak French. I could understand it, but I can't really read and write it as well as I used to.
Okay.
Um, and Dark Elven's innate. So once he got that quill, he started kind of like writing his life story. He started writing his confessions. And because of Triva, shout out to Triva,
Oh
she
yeah.
had him doing the whole Carnival, the Revalia.
Yep.
And he's been basically doing his rapping, his writing, his spoken word. So that's kind of like his bridge to becoming literate and learning how to express himself.
Love that. Love that. That's awesome. Okay, so Yardie, most people know Yardie is the panicky phantom. Yardie is frequently paranoid. A lot of times it turns out to be justified, but whatever else. So, but what would you say, or what would Yardie say he is most scared of? What's his biggest fear?
um I that's hard. Because before it would be demons.
Right.
Before it would be demons. There's
But
a
at
lot
this
of
point, he's a Palestra. I mean,
he's a
that's,
Palestra, he's still scared, but
well,
it's
yeah, but
yeah, he's scared, but he'll still throw down if it calls for it, but he's scared. I think um and I would say before it's probably the fear of discovery.
okay.
But I think now I think his biggest fear is, in terms of the fear of discovery, disappointing the people that he loves. Like,
Gotcha.
in particular with his close friends, with his
Yep.
brothers. Um, there's kind of like this ongoing thing with Iskander, where Iskander obviously is Valorian, And he's like, look, you're my brother and all, but if King Kalinor orders me to kill you, no hard
That-
feelings.
yeah.
And Yardie has that fear where he's like, I'm not gonna fight my brother. And if my brother is gonna be ordered to kill me, either I'm gonna run away or I'm just gonna tell him make it quick. And
Yeah.
so that fear of losing that is great for him.
Gotcha. Okay. A couple things that I provided you a list of questions I was intending to ask, but I'm going to add a couple in here that you have not had a chance to prep for. Feel free to pass. Feel free to pass on them if you don't want to do them. Totally fine. I'll edit all of that out.
Okay.
So what is Yardie's best? And again, I'm asking about the character here. What is Yardie's favorite memory in his time as you've been active in the game? So not like from his history or whatever, but from these past few years when he's been in the game. What's Yardie's favorite moment?
Yardie's favorite moment
Yep.
was his time with Solier and learning how to paint nails with her.
Okay.
The character's weird, but Yardie is very kind of he's very emotional, and like he's not an emo, but like he's not like a lot of rogues are like, I brood in the shadows, and
Oh, sure. Yeah,
I
yeah.
I feel nothing, and I am one with the darkness. And Yardie's deception is that he is very outward with his emotions. That doesn't mean he can't kill a person, but he's not
Yeah.
gonna. He was dating Missandei, and as a gesture of wanting to like do something nice for her, he wanted to like do her makeup and stuff like that. And he
Yeah.
told Solier, we had like a thing with Iskander in River West, and he told Solier, look, I want to be able to do something nice for her and whatever. And she took him to Silvergate Inn and she did his nails and showed him how to do it.
Oh, nice.
And that has been like, between that and cooking, those two things have been like the catalyst of, hey, these hands that I use to like garrote people and eviscerate people's necks and strangle people for money,
Yeah.
I can do these things to spruce somebody up or make someone feel better or make them a dinner. And that's been like a very, it's those the wake up call for him that made him realize I can I don't have to be the hardened assassin type person. I can just do good things for people.
Love that. Love that. That's awesome. Okay. So and now I'm going to ask you the flip side of the coin here. What is Yardie's worst moment in the past few years? The moment when he felt the lowest or the worst or something like that. And again, you
Oof.
don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I'll throw that one at you.
I'll be vague on it.
Okay.
Um, just certain peers that he had that he thought he could kind of like make things up and redeem things, and it didn't work that way. And um he kind of saw how trusting certain people can kind of like deceive him.
Okay.
And with that, he kind of like was kind of made to be like, I don't want to say the bad guy. And again, I'm not gonna say like Yardie's innocent on things he's not and
Sure.
whatever, but it just made him realize he felt alone and he felt kind of like bombarded with everything. And that kind of led him to um meeting new friends and things of that sort. But it was just a really dark time. He almost got killed.
Okay.
And just people that he thought he cared about and that they cared about him, um, they weren't there for him. But the flip side to that was that it made him realize how much his brothers were there for him, because at his lowest, they were there.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, absolutely. I get wanting to keep it vague. It's all good, but I know that one's a little bit harder sometimes to answer, so I appreciate you taking a stab at it.
Not a
Um,
problem.
okay, so that's the end of what I've got as far as pre-written questions. Is there anything that you would like, any story in particular you'd like to tell, anything you'd like to get on the record, anything like that? If not, totally cool. I can move on to the closing here.
Man,
So,
there's too many Yardie stories. I didn't think it was possible until I capped. When I
yeah.
capped, that was October 2nd, 2021. It was like it was supposed to be like a Iskander story time. He does this thing on Saturdays at 11:30, and I just
Oh
kind
yeah.
of like shanghaied it. And I'm like, hey, listen, we are going to we're gonna celebrate my capping. And we were like, a lot of my friends were there, a lot of the people that were there. I wish Aelero was there, my gemstone fairy godmother. She doesn't play anymore, but She has a special place in my heart, and she's amazing. Um, and there were just like all these people. Gisandra was there, Jalindra was there, Wolf Loner, the brothers were there, Lunarina, love Lunarina, she's awesome. All these people were there. And then for about a good half an hour, it was like, oh, does anybody remember the story of the squid? And oh, I can tell you the story about him being killed in Kraken's Fall. Oh, I can remember the story about when he botched his conversation with the mirror, and it was just boom. It was one after another, after another, after another. And these were not made up incidences. These were
Oh
all real
no.
incidences. And I just sat there and I was like, man, I cannot believe in this short amount of time he has had all of these misadventures, and that all these people are there to not only remember them but share them. And it just, man, that was a special day for me.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
I love those
Very
people,
cool.
man. They're good people.
Very nice. Okay. The last round here. So this is I'm talking to you, the player, not looking for Yardie's responses here.
Gotcha.
And some of these are I'm not even looking for gemstone. This is just me to you, the person. So
Okay.
feel free to answer them for yourself. Don't worry about the gemstone aspect of this.
Got it.
All right. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word. I don't I don't know. That's kind of that's kind of bizarre. I don't know. I honestly don't know. My favorite word, I guess, tenacious would be my favorite
Like
word, I
that.
guess.
Okay. What's your least favorite word?
My least favorite word, well, I can't say it.
Well,
I can't say it. I can't say it for
okay.
obvious reasons. I can't say it.
Okay. Okay. What turns you on?
What turns me on?
Yep.
Oh man, a good meal. Sweet potato pie, some nice chicken. Um,
Nice.
someone, I'm talking about this in terms of like with like a person or just whatever.
Well, it's your question to answer.
Okay, definitely foods, definitely languages. Man, you're taking me places. Languages, I like a nice pair of lips.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm like Sir Mix-a-Lot. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Um, and
Very nice.
there you go. And
Okay,
yeah, I said languages. Yeah, like if someone that can speak different languages, oh man, that's hot.
nice. What turns you off?
Um, I would say nagging turns me off. Ignorance turns me off.
Okay.
Um, and just people that are just overtly rude for the sake of being rude. I could deal with people that are like buttholes and they don't know
Sure.
it. I can't deal with buttholes for the sake of being buttholes. Those people gotta get got.
Gotcha. What sound or noise do you love?
The sound, there's a few sounds.
Okay.
I like the sound of a clean subwoofer.
Oh
That
yeah.
hum is, oh man, if you have good bass, that hum is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I'm right there
the
with you.
the sound of like cutting construction paper is kind of silly, but I like that.
Okay.
It takes me to my childhood. I like the sound of like certain foods cooking that sizzle. Especially like fajitas and stuff like that. That's pretty dope.
Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
Um, I I'm not too fond of like the ukulele. I don't know
Okay.
why, man. I don't know why
All
it drives
right.
me nuts. And I don't
I get
like
that, I
and I
guess.
don't like I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, 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 you're good. You're good.
I'm not a fan of the ukulele. I don't like squeaky voices. Um, like some voices are like squeaky and they can't help themselves, but some of them are like the banshee and it's too piercing. And I don't um like whiny music. I don't know how to describe like whiny rock, you know.
Okay.
I don't, you know,
Now
it
I'm
just
curious now. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into that one, even though I told myself I wouldn't. So when you're saying whiny rock, are you talking about the lyrics or are you talking about the sound?
I'm talking about the not so much the lyrics, but
Okay.
the sound. Like I know
Okay.
I like certain songs, but like if they're like that one like they're really whiny and stuff like that, and I can't deal with it. I can't.
Okay. Okay. For the next question, feel free to use a euphemism or just get close to get your point across, or pass on the question entirely. But
Okay.
what is your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word.
Yep.
Um, yeah, we're allowed to curse in this? I've
Go
been,
for
I've
it.
been, I've been so PG
I
13.
know you've been doing good. You've been
I've,
doing good. But for this one, I'm going to give you a pass. Go for it.
I think it would probably be the MF word, like
Okay.
just
Okay.
straight up, like, yo, motherfucker, and just with that emphasis, like,
Oh yeah. Yep. I got you. Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
oh, what in terms of game or in terms of life?
No, I'm talking about life.
Oh, okay. So should have been a firefighter. I mean, don't get me wrong,
Okay.
I love what I do, but I think I would have enjoyed being a firefighter, or I probably would have enjoyed getting into like, being a DJ. I kind of
Okay.
regret not doing that. I could have never been a martial artist, like a pro martial artist, but definitely a DJ. I like music and I like hip hop and all that stuff.
Gotcha. What profession would you not like to do?
I would not like to be I guess I wouldn't like to be a waiter.
Oh, yeah.
I feel I tend like when I go to restaurants with my wife and my kid, we like if they get good service, we make it a priority. But man, some people are terrible. I definitely wouldn't want to be a phone receptionist either because I can't deal with someone cussing me out. I'd have to like I just couldn't do it.
I gotcha. Okay. Final question.
Let's go.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You made it. You
Very
made it.
nice.
I would love him to say that. I mean,
Excellent.
I thought about saying you tried. Because no, because I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I would look at it in terms of it. Like, if I made it to heaven, I would look at it like, he look at me and be like, yeah, you know what, you tried, you did all right.
Yep.
You
Yep.
did all right. But I think you made it would be enough. Like, hey, you made it, and I'd be like, all right, you
Gotcha.
did.
All right, sir. That's it for me. Thank you so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. Um, Thank you for taking the time. It was a blast.
I'm glad. I'm
And
glad.
I'm gonna wrap up the recording here. Give me just a second to stop this, and I got a couple more things for you before you drop off.
Okay.
Bear with me.